Hello stars, welcome or welcome back. My name is Aster. If you are new here, I'm a reader and a writer. I'm currently trying to publish my first book. It's sent out to queries, I'm just kind of waiting to hear back. But in the meantime, I've kind of been writing lots. So we're gonna take a break and we're going to do a little bit of a chatty video. I wanted to talk about my writing process because every writer has their different process, and there's one thing I do that feels quite different from pretty much any other writer. There are some writers who do this as well, but not a lot of people do it. I also found these cute little book charms. So while I talk, I'm gonna turn this into a necklace. The biggest thing would probably be between plotting or pantsering, do you like to know what's going on in your book, or do you kind of go with the flow of things? Personally, I plot my book. I can see the benefits of doing it either way, honestly, but just the way my brain works, I need to know what's going on in the story, or the story's plot will never progress. It will just be scenes between characters, but the actual thing that they're trying to do won't get anywhere. I plot 3 different times, to be honest. I start with just, trying to figure out what the plot is. Kind of write all my ideas down until I find the bigger plot that I like. By the time I finish that, I kind of know the beginning and I kind of know the end, but I know nothing else. So I then start plotting other things I want to happen in this book between the plots, in the middle, how the characters kind of get closer to each other. I don't do big paragraphs or sentences. I quite literally point form it and plot it like that. After I do that, I then break it up into chapters, because once again, if I don't do that, it ends up being one chapter can be 500 words, another chapter can be 6,000 words. So I really need a bit more structure to how I do things. And I get that that doesn't work for some people. I did pantser for a while. When I first started writing, it was just easier. I didn't want to write everything down before I actually wrote the story. It was so much work, but I found I knew what was going to happen better and things were more precise. The main thing I do different from other writers would be I write my first drafts by hand, which it's definitely a choice because it takes longer. I personally take longer to write by hand than I do to type on the computer. And then once it's all done, you have to transfer it all over to the computer. Unless you use AI to scan it and to type it out for you, it's a lot of work. And I don't like using AI to scan it. I like reading over the words that I've written, which is one of the reasons why I write by hand. I did it at first so that just so I wouldn't be focused on the word count. I felt whenever I was writing by the first drafts on the computer, I would be constantly looking and worrying, being oh, is this gonna be long enough to be considered a novel? And it would stress myself. It would stress me out. I'd stress myself out. So I decided to switch it up, and just the first book, not even the one that I just finished, it was a different book. I had gotten a notebook that kind of matched the vibe, so I was yeah, let's just write it in here just for fun. And I finished it, and I liked it, so I did it with my second novel, which is the novel I'm querying. It's a lot of work, I know that, but it also allows me to not only not worry about things like the word count, but to, I guess, rewrite it in the second draft. Because a lot of things change and a lot of things can be written better. When I'm forced to change it from my handwriting onto the computer, I really have to read it line by line. And so I can really zone in and see okay, that needs to be worded a bit better, and I'll just redo it right there. I am editing as I go. I'm not just putting all of it into one document as it is, because it needs work done on it. That second draft is what I call the rewrite. And I do probably like 3-4 drafts total before I send it out, because there's no way it's going to be done just by that. I still need to go line by line, find things that could be done better, focus more on the specifics on the story and the plot and making that better. I write all of my stuff on Google Docs because I think I tried using Word, because Word, I went to school for writing and publishing, and Word was what we were taught on, but Word only lets like one device be the main one and actually edit. So I could go in and read it on my other devices, but I couldn't edit it. And I somehow managed to get my phone as the main device on Word, so I'm not writing an entire story on my phone. So I scrapped that idea, and I've just been on Google Docs since. To talk a little bit more about the stories I write, I mostly write fantasy. Mostly. I only write fantasy. I love kind of getting lost in a whole different world. I might one time try romance. All of my fantasies are like romantic fantasies, usually subplot romance with the focus on the fantasy, but that's typically what I read as well. And I find in stories like that, you do kind of need to plot out and plan it a bit more, because the world, the power structure, the dynamic, it's all very different and very important. So you can't really just go off of basic knowledge with those ones. I don't know if this is gonna stay on it, but I'm gonna try it. I'm on to the second one now. First one's done. I don't read and I don't write just to see more of what's been going on in this world. Like, I see it enough. It's kind of depressing, honestly. So I like to do something different, something that brings you out of that, maybe makes you a little bit happier, a little more excited to go about your day. I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's kind of what I have in my head when I'm writing, is just the idea that it's different. You're not stuck in the same old loop that you are here. And even with that being said, I guess I do have very similar themes to problems we have going on in our world, but the world is different enough that it doesn't make you depressed thinking that, like, yeah, hey, we're going through the exact same thing. And it's fantasy. It's more fun when it's fantasy. The story I'm trying to publish that's being queried right now, it is called Project New World. That's just kind of what it's been going by. I have a folder of reading vlogs if you ever want to look at those, but writing vlogs. And it's a cozy fantasy, you know, about this girl from Earth who gets brought to this new world and is like absolutely in love with it. And she goes on adventures and quests, and she meets some friendly people, some not so friendly people. I kind of wanted that to be my first story because it brings the possibility of fantasy and all of that a little bit more possible, because she's just your average girl on Earth. They meet on Earth, and the guy is not from Earth, and he's like, yeah, I want you to come here. I want you to see this. It's slow burn romance. I'm hoping it'll be a trilogy. We'll see what people say when I get a literary agent, but yeah. So that was just a shorter little video today. I just kind of wanted to chat a bit. And I don't really talk about my writing process very much, but if you look in here, this is my pirate fantasy novel that I'm writing. This is the first draft. And here I don't do the main plotting where I'm trying to figure out what happens in the story in general. I don't do that in the notebook. I actually write the story in. this one has a little summary of the story, and then general plot points in order for what happens in the story, and then chapter plot points. And I go pretty in depth in these. Not like this happens, this happens, this happens, and this happens, then end the chapter. I'm just like, they have to go to this place, do whatever you want to get them there. These two need to talk. I need to make sure that they, you know, connect more, and like, just like make sure this at some point somehow happens in this novel. And that's usually what I do for all my stories, just to give myself a better idea of what the chapter is going to look like. I think when I wrote my cozy fantasy and I was going over and actually looking, like in the 4th draft, looking to see how long each chapter was, I had one chapter that was 6,000 words, and this was more shorter chapter kind of book. So I cut that in half, and I had another chapter that wasn't even 1,000 words. So I'm like, okay, you need to add a scene to that chapter. And so having that all written out like that, it helps. Like, that's just how my brain works. Now I'm wanting to continue doing that because of the steps between the 1st and 2nd draft, to be able to rewrite it. I think that really makes the novel better. Because if I'm just looking at the same words, it's like, okay, it's already there. It's already good. It's okay. I can do it a little bit better. But when I'm rewriting it, I find that it gets much better. To redo the details, to focus on that one point, to not worry about having to get the rest of the story done. It's already done. I just need to write it out. It lets me focus on those moments a bit more. Usually, I mean, from what I had for this draft, I did 1st draft by hand, and then 2nd draft, I rewrote it and printed it out, and then like with pen went into the papers and was like, yeah, okay, this needs to change, this needs to change, this needs to change, and just kind of let myself read through it once. And then 3rd draft, I put all those edits in and then invited my friend who agreed to be my editor. I invited her onto that, and she did the first few chapters, and then stuff happened in her life. So I took those edits and kind of applied them to the rest of the story and made draft 4. And then from that point on, I kind of went over it a few times myself, just being like, hey, is this okay? What's going on? And then I was like, okay, I don't think I can get it much better. I think I'm just being picky. I don't know what actually needs help and what I'm just like, oh, that's okay. I don't know what I'm being critical of and what actually needs help. So I'm like, okay, let's send this out. Let's get this out to the world instead of just sitting here and staring at it and doing it over and over and over again. Yeah, short little chatty vlog today, but that's all we're gonna do. I hope you stars enjoyed, and I will see you all next week. Bye bye.